How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you, Jeremiah?
Good. We got a bunch of AI note takers hopping in here. I feel like we're going to be outnumbered by AI note takers. There you go. And Zoom has an AI companion. Notion has an AI companion. Oh my gosh, there's so many AI companions. These things are so intrusive. Awesome. Well, hey, good to see everybody. If you haven't figured it out, I'm not Max, and Max ain't coming. And that's because Max's son got real sick this morning and he had to take him to the hospital. Max has a 2 week old. 2 week old Maxie Jr. is okay, but he's dealing with his family, which he should be doing. And so you get me for your leadership open house today, which maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. You can tell me in 44 more minutes. This is the first one of these that we're doing. The idea behind this is that we want you to be able to join and do like live workshop style with us so that we can help you get the most out of our platform. And so I do see that Carmen Lee Smith is on here 1, 2, 3 times. So that's totally cool. I think you all are just sharing Zoom accounts, but these are meant to be interactive. It's going to be very informal if you haven't already figured that out. But the idea behind this is for our leadership teams specifically to be able to ask questions. Hi, AJ, I see that I'm on your screen in front and I can see myself. That's fun. These are for our leadership teams to be able to ask questions, for y'all to get some best practices, hear about what we're working on. Really, the idea being what we know is when you are driving like software adoption and growth inside of a real estate brokerage, everything rises and falls on the leadership pinnacle. And so as leaders, we have to be the ones kind of like charting the course for our agents. So we are building, hey, Bruce, we are building software at such a fast pace. It is really hard for you all to keep up with us on everything we're building and releasing. And so what we want to make sure is that we're keeping you all as leaders in the loop. We're helping share and disseminate some best practices around what we're seeing. And then we can give you a little bit of context to things that we're working on and how to engage with us more deeply. This is going to be leadership focused. If any of you are not on the leadership teams of your brokerage that have like owner access to BrokerBot, you may be very confused through parts of this conversation. But is anybody here not an owner in their BrokerBot account, or is everybody an owner? Everybody's an owner. Tristan has a lot of corgis, and that's amazing. I just realized that. That's way awesome. And is that a Y4CTT's t-shirt that I see, or what's on your t-shirt? Yeah, it
It
is.
is. Good eyes.
Yeah. I can only see like the very top of it. I think those are cool. Very cool. All right. Before I just like jump in and start brain dumping at you all, yeah, totally cool. James, you can invite anybody you want. I just don't want people to like show up for one thing and then be confused. Before I start jumping in and just like taking you through things, are there any specific things you want to ensure that I cover on this call today for you? Like, what are you looking to get out of this? Or do you even know what you're looking to get out of this? That's probably a better question.
So for me, Jeremiah, I'll speak just from being new. We're a week on the platform. I think would be Monday, right? So for us, it's just I wanted to steal some best practices that maybe the team and I aren't thinking of. So I created a leadership team under me that's going to help build out and help train the bot. So I figured if I could get them all on this call, we're probably going to hear from some great best practices throughout the country that we'll probably want to adopt.
Yeah, rock and roll. Well, James, you have good timing. This is the first like leadership only open house that I think we've ever done. And it's exactly for what you just said. What else? Anybody else? Or you want me to just start rocking? All right, we're gonna start rocking. Here's what and I'm gonna give you all like just some behind the scenes inside baseball on what we're learning. What we've learned really quickly is that when people connect their integrations, their adoption of our software goes up just by a crazy amount. So what we did is we actually built a tool so that you all can get visibility into who has and who has not connected their integrations. Now, I'm going to share something with you that I just found really interesting because I was just doing a little research on this morning. So number one, to be clear, Gmail, Google Calendar, and Outlook are live for everybody. In January and February of this year, we had talked about having these be pro features. that individual users would have to pay $200 a month to get access to. On March 16th, we made a decision to do away with that and just made them available to everybody. So if you missed that memo, you now have that memo. Keller Williams Command is live today for Keller Williams accounts only. And then we have Canva, Follow Up Boss, Commissions Inc., and Close are live. Those are all hidden behind feature flags, though. So that means that you need to be in our beta testing groups to get access to those. That's one of the things I will go over with you is how to get into those beta testing groups. Now, we have not publicly announced that we took down that paywall. The reason for that is when people start to figure out what's possible with these integrations, they start using it like crazy. We have not raised a ton of financing as a company, and there's a very real chance that if we told 25, 26 now thousand agents that they can do all this stuff, we wouldn't be able to pay the LLM bill. So we're like kind of like slow rolling this out to people, and this is why we're telling you as the leaders. So here's the timeline of how this worked. Like we built Command first, we pulled down the pro paywall, we turned KW Command on globally for everybody now. And then we're working on some of these other ones. So if you look at some of these numbers, keep in mind, we haven't announced to anybody that these are included now. And we have several thousand people that have connected things. And on any given week, this is just people discovering these connections. So like we're at 400, we'll probably do more than 400 new connections this week of people just discovering this is how it works. But when you start to see like the amount of work that these things are doing, we're going to break 3,000 API calls this week. And so think of an API call as an individual task that we're doing inside the integration for a user. This is like the stickiest spot in our software. And I think a lot of you are using it as like a Q&A helper today, but we want to help you drive more adoption. So we built some tech here. So if you go to your members screen, there's some new filters in here. So you can go owners, team members, claimed, unclaimed, phone not verified. So if you go to owners, in this owners account, you'll see now there's these new integrations. So step number one is like, make sure your entire leadership team has their integrations connected. And so you can see who has what flipped on with different feature flags and the colors tell you what's connected. Those connections are going to be like the building block for a lot of your adoptions. So as you come into integrations, it's really simple to connect these things. I'll disconnect Gmail and then I reconnect it by just clicking. It's going to say connect through Composio. Composio is our third-party vendor that powers these integrations. If you want it to do everything, make sure you have all the services turned on, hit continue, and now I'll be hooked up. And so this is the full suite. If you all want access to any of these and they're not in your account, you need to join our beta group. The way you join our beta groups is you go in here, you join our Slack, and then you just send me a DM or you'll find the things on the side when you go into that Slack for the groups that you want to join. So there's a closed command one because that only works for Keller Williams. There's Canva, and I'm going to add Follow Up Boss today. And I think we already turned that on for James. James, just so you know, we are Follow Up Boss right now to give us an API rate limit increase because we have like a whopping 15 people on it and we're already hitting their API limits. So I think we'll get it. We'll just see how much we need. But so as a reminder, click here, join our Slack. Once they're in Slack, you can join the group. So Canva is an open group. We're going to add Follow Up Boss today. So you all as the leaders, if you have agents in your offices that that they would love this stuff and you want to drop a little extra value on them, feel free to tell them about this. Tell them to join the Slack. They can get invited to these things. But these integrations are going to be the cornerstone for a lot of the things that you all can do. The second thing I want to make sure that you all know about is a change we made in the web crawler. Before I jump into this, how many of you have already seen smart web crawl versus strict? Do you all know what that means? Do we need to spend a hot second on it? Okay.
Don't know.
There's at least a few of you going, I don't know. When we started with BrokerBot, we wanted to make sure that it went only to trusted sources. So the way that we did that is we told the web crawler, you can only go to where the user tells you to go. After we got about 500,000 web crawls in, we were able to build our own reasoning loop using that data to allow BrokerBot to go to the full web. So now it has smart capabilities, which means it can go anywhere on the web. The difference is going to be when it finds something on social media or Reddit or any sort of user-generated content, it's always going to go corroborate that with a trusted source before it returns it as the source of truth. So it is using a reasoning loop. It is still probabilistic, meaning that it is probably right, and it's going to be right 97, 98% of the time. It gives the machine tremendously more horsepower than strict mode because more often than not, Smart's going to get it right. Smart is going to give it the ability to just go everywhere on the internet. So if you've not enabled smart mode for your team, I would encourage you to do that. Now, when you flip it to smart mode, these go from becoming an allow list to these are now the breadcrumbs that tell us like, where do I go for this person to find resources? And if you want, you can actually add context in here around what each of these sites are for. And then we're even working on a world where you can pass like usernames and passwords so that BrokerBot can log in to authenticated sites. Today, it only works with header values. And if you don't know what a header value is, you probably won't be able to figure out how to use it anyways. So don't worry about it. If you know what a header value is, you're going to be able to use it. So smart mode is a really important thing. Group scoping is also in here. These groups and that scoping allows you to say like, hey, for this group of people, this website is valuable, and BrokerBot will figure out what it's valuable for. Questions on that? Does that make sense? All right. We also made a bunch of changes to the chat widget. Inside a chat widget, we now have full authentication baked in. What that does is it makes it so that if you put it on your like public facing websites or intranets or anything, the experience will be that your users can sign in and now it will know who it's talking to. So it gets a lot smarter when you do that. So that's there. The second is you can also customize the icon. So like for Jeff and Smokey at Go Network, they made this their Gobi icon and you can change the size and make little animations and stuff. There's a link that you can now modify when you put stuff in here. It'll add it here and it'll make it clickable. So a lot of times, like if people are on your intranet and you want to link them back to the full BrokerBot experience, you could just put app.brokerbot.ai and say like use BrokerBot on the web or something. And then this will be clickable to get them back to log in here. You do need to put that at the beginning without a D, and then it'll work. And now it'll be a clickable link. You can target what pages you do and don't want this to show up on, and you could just install it with a script tag. So this is pretty deep in the weeds, but if you have questions about this, feel free to ask us. There's a bunch of stuff that we added in there. I'm trying to think of what else we've added recently. Integrations, knowledge, the stuff is all the same. I'll pause there for just a hot second. Thoughts, questions, feedback on that. Does that make sense for everybody?
What's your email address if we want to get invited to Slack?
To invite to Slack, you don't need to email me. You can self-invite. Let me show you how to do that. Hang on. So once you're logged in, you just go right here to the bottom right. You click there and you hit join our Slack. That'll invite you straight into it.
Okay, I'm assuming bottom right is under all of our pictures. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's bottom left on my screen. It may be mirrored how you see it, but it's hidden behind your picture. And yeah, then you just hit join our Slack. Good question. Before I jump into like what we're working on, one of the core things that I want you all to understand is that you as leaders have the ability to personalize BrokerBot for your agents at the team level, like at your brokerage level, at group and team levels nested underneath there, or all the way down to the individual user level. And so if you all have agent teams in your brokerage, then what I would do is I would set up a group for that agent team, and then you can put knowledge and trainings and things mapped to that group. And that way you can start to build custom things for them. But where I would start as a brokerage leader is by building things for the entire brokerage. And so what we're starting to get better at is helping you understand and build some of these things out. And so I'm going to use somebody else's account to just give an example of this where I think they did a really nice job of this. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull this up. Okay, so here's how we built this. Is we started by saying, can you go look up answers on kw.com, how to turn files into Command MC? And so BrokerBot goes and it reads all this stuff and it figures it out. Then I hit the voice prompt and I say, okay, what I want to do now is I want to create a lightweight transaction coordination protocol. And we're going to call it KWCVTC as the keyword. It should prompt agents to upload a copy of their ratified contract. And I want you to read and extract the key data details from the contract, look in their Google contacts and command to find the customer's contact info. And if they don't have it, ask them for it. I want you to upload all the information from the contract into command as contacts so they have it, and that'll be easier for them to create the opportunity. And then if you take all the key dates from that, offer to create calendar invites in their connected Google Calendar with a reminder 24 hours. And then I want you to offer to email a transaction coordinator like summary to the clients that they represent. And you'll have to infer who they represent based on the way the contract is written. Take all this and offer to walk them step by step through this process of how to turn a file into Command MC and write yourself a master prompt so we can save this for training. What happened here is I was chatting with Amy and I was like, what's a pain point for your agents? And she's like, well, they all don't love how we turn in files. So I was like, well, let's see if we can make it a little bit easier. And so we just turned on the voice recorder and we started talking through how this is going to work. And so the voice recorder is right here. And then we just told it to make a prompt. And so you'll see BrokerBot wrote its own protocol and figured all this out. And then we said, great, save it for training with a trigger phrase of KWCVTC. So anytime someone types this, you do this. And you'll see it save training. So then now in the training, we went in and we approved this for all their agents. And so when Amy rolled this out to her team meeting, what she did is she had each of the agents go on and say, tell me what you do when I say KWCVTC. And so she did this live in her team meeting when she rolled out BrokerBot. And what I want to teach you all is that this is a mental model for anything that you could want our platform to do for your agents, that you can train it to create flyers, do virtual staging, create marketing materials, create scripts, read through their CRM, whatever it is. And then you can save a trigger phrase. So when you're doing your office meetings, you can say, hey, okay, everybody pull your BrokerBot out, type in this trigger phrase, and it'll show you what it'll do. So I'm curious for you all, what do you think happened in her team meeting when all her agents were typing this in? And they're saying okay, upload your contract. I'll read the contract and extract all the info. I'll determine who you represent and look in your contacts and your command. Then I'll create all your contacts. I'll create calendar invites. I'll write summaries, and then they wait here. How do you think her agents responded to seeing this for the first time as their introduction to the platform? Yeah, I saw 3 of you do the brain exploding thing. That's that first, we call that time to first magic moment. The faster we can get that time to first magic moment where they're like, whoa. And then some of them, she's like, okay, so one of you has a contract, just upload it and say, do it. And so she had 1 or 2 people in the room do it. And they were like, holy crap, it actually made the invites in my Google Calendar. And so that's how you start to create a little bit of that FOMO for the other agents that are like, wait a minute, what just happened? How's this working? And what is this thing? So that playbook around those workflows is a thing that's going to be really helpful for you. Now, we'll get into teasers for a minute or in a minute of what we're working on. But what questions do you all have? Is there a workflow we could create together that would make help expand your brains to how easy this is?
So I'm assuming that the KW whatever CT thing, basically it's almost functioning as a transaction coordinator in a sense.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so if you have a transaction coordinator in your brokerage.
Sorry.
Yeah. So if you do have one, no, don't fire him. Sorry. Just registered for your point. You said, what you may do is you may just say hey, we're going to make it really easy for you to turn your file into your TC. I want to show you all how easy this is to do, because I promise you're going to overcomplicate this. All right. I want to make it really easy for my agents to turn their file in for TC work. And so we're going to create a new protocol called Proven TC. And all I want them to do is upload all the ratified documents to you. And when they upload them, I want you to do a quick check. Make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, meaning, is there any blanks in the contract that shouldn't be there? Did they miss any key dates? Are things backdated or postdated in a way that could be problematic? Just kind of look for regular problems that we see. And then pull a copy of our file turn-in checklist and just let them know if there's anything that they might be missing that they should work on. And after you give them that feedback, I want you to send an email to support@nobodydoesmore.com and include the file that they upload as an attachment and let them know that our TC will get right to work on it. Once you get this, write your own prompt so that you can save this as a training and a workflow each time that they do this. What else do you need to know from me? And is there anything that you think would make this a better experience for the agent that would make it really wow? Like, I'm just long form talking to it. It's going to figure it out. So those of you that are using AI, like, you get it. And you know what's happening here. And so it's going to figure this out. We did now add the ability, it can send attachments through Google. So this is where, like, you all need to, BrokerBot is your AI teammate, and you all need to teach it your business process. So maybe you want it to be a TC for them. Maybe you want it to be the entry point for your TC. I was on with Craig Rieger's team earlier today, and they're like, we just want our agents to get faster feedback on their files so that we don't have to touch them as many times. We're like, great, let's do this. Let's have BrokerBot review it. It'll pull a copy of the file turn-in checklist, and it'll just kind of write its own playbook for this stuff. And it'll let you know what it's missing, if anything. And so it's going to, like, here's the questions it wants to know from me. Here's what it wants, like, to be better. And so I can just sit here and workshop with it until I get it saved. I can save it for training, and then I can scope, and I'm going to flip into the trainings. I can scope in this training who I want this to work for. And this, like, permissions model works across our entire platform. And what this says is public means anybody that BrokerBot talks to. So if somebody calls it, texts it, talks to your chat widget, and they're not logged in, it'll do this. Internal means they need to be logged in. They either have to have a verified phone or they have to have an email. And Randy, I see your hand. Give me a second. Private means you can make this go all the way down to the individual user. So this only applies to Maximo now. So in this world, this would not apply to anybody but him, or I can have it apply to groups. I can come in here. I don't know where the group went. Okay, so like I have a couple teams. And so I can apply it to Maximo and the team, just the team, or just Max. And that this configurability, this just tells you, it's the same as if you hired a human employee. You're saying, hey, when this person does this thing, I want you to do it this way and only do it for these people. Does that mental model make sense to you all?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Randy, you got your hand up. What's going on?
So a quick question. So we run in Follow-Up Boss, but our TC operates in Open to Close. So is that two things that, because I know with KW Command, I'm familiar with it because I was there in the original time when they were building that shit. Sorry, but I'm just wondering about how that will integrate with us. Like we're in FUB, dotloop, and Open to Close. How that works.
Our like goal as a company is to just be platform agnostic. So we have FUB live today, but it's behind a feature flag. So you need to join our beta group, and then I can flip it on for you. Dotloop is on our integrations list. We're actually live working on SkySlope right now. We were gonna do Lone Wolf next, but they have some weird deal terms, so we may pull Dotloop ahead of Lone Wolf. And then Open to Close is on the list. I just don't know how far down it is. But like our goal is by the end of this year that we should have everything. Like we're actively working on Bold Trail, SkySlope, Rechat. What else are we working on right now? Lofty. And then you saw my list of what's live, like Commissions Inc., Close, Follow-Up Boss. Those are all live.
Yeah, because I mean, the biggest hurdle we've had to overcome is we have an internal intake form that's filled out in dotloop. And then they have to go in separately, fill out their intake form and Open to Close. And we were like, man, there's got to be a way to make that easier where we're not having to double down.
Yeah, our goal is to take all those every time that you say there's got to be a way to make this easier, we want to help be the way. Like that is our goal in life. And so we, just as a reminder, because some of y'all are brand new customers, we started on this project 14 months ago. There's a crazy plumbing project. And then our first integration was Keller Williams Command. And that Keller Williams Command went live on February 19th. It's now April 24th. So from the first one getting live to 5 weeks later, these are all the ones we got live. So like we're cranking and we're going to keep cranking these things out. Right now we have 6 of them that we're working on. And we're typically the thing that takes the longest for us is to get API keys and stuff to work on these. So if you all are the customers, like you are paying dotloop and OTC and these guys. So if you want to be helpful and proactive, join the beta groups. We'll flip you live as they come on. And then also like go poke the vendors to get us API keys and get us onboarded. The reason KW got done first is because we had, 12,000 Keller Williams agents and 150 KW leaders barking at corporate to get us done. So the more you bark at the vendors, the faster we get these done.
Yeah, I'm sure Carmen can help. I think she's on the road right now, but I'm sure she can help with that.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be amazing. How are we doing? Is this workflows concept helpful for you all?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That is, look, I'm a realtor, so I'm pointing this comment directly back at myself. Real estate agents are typically kind of lazy and they need things to be easy for them. So taking it from like, here's a prompt that you can type in to here's a keyword that you can type in drives the adoption up exponentially. However, taking it from here's a keyword you can type in to here's a button you can click will drive it up even more. So I want to be really clear. This is not live today, but we're working on this. This will be our new homepage, and you will have the ability to edit all these tiles, and you can stuff your workflows behind these tiles as they're custom to your brokerage. There's even a world where like we're going to have you give you the ability to build agents, and then those agents can sit on the homepage. We're pushing this into production this afternoon for our final rev of testing. Again, just like join that beta group, and as things pop up that we're ready for beta testers for, we will post it in the announcements channel. And the idea here is we just want to get closer to click button, do thing, because that is how we get agents to do things.
Jeremiah, I have a quick question if you still have a second.
Yeah, go for it.
So I have a certain process that I use once I meet a client, right? And of course that includes, our local MLS and then Vilopo searches and whatnot, which I typically set up for people as soon as I get done. It's a whole closing, like first meeting, and at the end of that first meeting, there's a closing, right? Now
Yeah.
we were using House Whisperer to record all the notes and whatnot to automatically populate over there. Then I have to, of course, pull out my computer and set all of that up. Will there be an integration with something like Vilopo as well in the future, potentially, where I can just tell it like, hey, set their search up based on these notes, right? And it automatically does it, or would that still be something manual?
Today it's definitely manual. I can text
Yeah.
G and see. Let me see what G says. I'll text her right now. G's one of the founders at Vilopo. You probably know
Okay.
that, but not everybody else might. Hey, are you in Austin next week? Either Howard or G will be there, and I'll talk to him about that. That's an interesting idea. We have
the way
our first. Go ahead.
Just explain to you the process, right? The way I typically do it right now is I have an email template built out where I manually have to take the search link from Vilopo, put it under the website in the left-hand columns over there in FUB. And then the email template pulls that search directly from there. It's built out specifically to that client, right? And of course, I have to do a little bit of editing, but based on the notes. But I'm wondering how easy would it be to have it pull from the notes and type up an actual email. Use that, because I did talk to Vilopo at one point about integrating that link from there to there, and I kept getting the weird response that it's a static link and we can't do it, although it's not it's not a dynamic link, it's a static link, right? Once it generates for the search, it stays for the search. They kept giving me the response that keeps changing. It does not keep changing. So I'm curious if you can get through that.
Yeah, we'll figure. I'll take a look.
Yeah.
I'll talk to G and see what he says.
Perfect.
where my brain has been at on this. So for those of you that don't know, my last company was the largest privately held consumer search portal. It's called Movoto.com. We had 20 million people a month on the website. The behavior that I've noticed from consumers is like when they're looking for real estate, they don't do it in one place. There's a company called Journaya. And what Journaya does is they do TCPA compliance. So when you fill out a form on a website, you know that like the micro text at the bottom that says like you give us consent to call you. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? What that actually does is that captures a cookie on that consumer, and then we can track that consumer across everywhere else they go on the web. And all the major publishers trade hashed consumer data so that we know who's on who else's websites. And so what you could do is what we would see is you would see the consumer come in, they would submit a lead form, and they would immediately go to Zillow, then to Redfin, then to Realtor.com, and they would bounce to all these different websites, because when they don't find the property on one of these, what the consumer thinks is, oh, well, let me look in a different place. And they don't realize that like it's all the same properties in all the same places. And so what a lot of the portals do is they keep latent inventory on the site to drive leads, because it looks like unique inventory. That's why you're seeing this big like debate from Compass and all these companies around unique inventory, or why Final Offer gets so much traction, is because the consumers like they're polyamorous in the way that they search for houses, right? They're just looking for the right house. And if they're not finding it on your site, they're going to go somewhere else and look. And so I haven't put a lot of brain power into search and how it like interplays with our platform, because I just think consumers are just going to go like do what they do. And what our job is to make it so that when they find the one that they want to see, instead of clicking the like set showing on Zillow button, they like text Bruce and go, hey, Bruce, we saw this on Zillow. Can you show it to us tomorrow? Which is like, I don't think that I actually need to be the one to surface that house to them. I just need to give them something that is good enough to where maybe they have like a Chrome extension, or they have something where they like grab that Zillow link and they text it to your AI assistant. And it's like, hey, what's up with this house? Is this a good deal? Could I go see it? It's a different way to solve the problem, but I'm super down to talk to G and see if there's a way that we can help integrate Ylopo. We have one MLS that we've integrated right now that's like was our RISO standard template. Where I find it really helpful is like, I can text it and get showing instructions for a house. I can get all the non-public or like days on market, SPDS, all those things. It's helpful for that. But I'm not super long on like agent-driven search. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of an unwinnable game to go fight with all the portals.
That email template that I have, it's more along the lines of just, I guess, giving them more direction. They can still look on Zillow and whatever. Like, it's just like, hey, this is going to be very specific to what you tell me you want.
Yeah. Super smart. Okay, cool. Sorry, I digress. I could talk about home search for days. I want to show you all one other thing that we've been working on that's now live that you may not have noticed. So y'all are seeing this in mind. There's schedule, inbox, and then there's recent and pin chats. What we noticed is like, as you all as leaders, you're going into your recruiting appointments and stuff, and maybe you want to show somebody this like FTP protocol, you can now pin that. So if I'm doing recruiting appointments, I'm going to probably pin two or three of these right at the top, so that when I'm meeting with a recruit, I don't have to go hunt for them. I just be like, well, let me show you a few things you can do with our AI assistant. And that's like boom, boom, boom. They're all pinned right there. So this is more for you all as leaders, that you can now pin and unpin these chats at the top. Also, the other thing is a lot of you ask us for stats. I want to make sure you know that this is a little Easter egg in here, that when you click on this star from all chats as leaders, it gives you an experience that we call chat with my chats. And so you can ask it anything about what your agents are doing, including usage and stats. So you can ask it like, hey, how many people asked you things this month, this week, who's using integrations? You can query all of it. So that's a hidden kind of Easter egg that's in there to help you manage this. And the pin chats thing is new. Scheduled chats is not in the wild yet, that we are working on that. And so you'll see I have V2 of our agent on. that V2 agent allows me to do things like say, hey, I need you to send an email to Bruce Hardy in 4 minutes telling him it's 11:45 on the West Coast. And it should create a scheduled task for that. We're doing some like final testing on this stuff. So this works. These are called cron jobs in the engineering world. And so it can create like one of these like every Monday at 3 o'clock, every Saturday afternoon. Like you can create scheduled things in here. I don't know Bruce's email, but pretend it worked for a minute.
Spelled my name wrong. It's an IE on the end.
That's right. So that's coming in Agent V2. Agent V2 is also quite a bit faster than Agent V1, as you can see here. That's fine. It'll find you eventually. Yeah, there you go. So this is quite a bit faster. We're testing the new Chat GPT image thing and benchmarking it against Gemini right now to see if it's any better at what we do. So far, it seems like Gemini is still better, but we'll report back on that. While this is going, I'm going to show you one other thing. I don't know how many of you have agents that consistently use, hang on, let me make sure I flip back to the current thing. How many of you have agents that use our like virtual staging type stuff? But if I go in here and I say, I want your help virtually staging this bathroom, and I do this, and you like start to get down, you'll see when I hover over this, there's a pencil on here. There's one key thing that I want you all to remember to tell your agents that are using this. If they don't select what image they're trying to edit, they're leaving it up to the LLM to pick which image they're trying to edit. And it's going to guess really poorly. Like, this is my PSA that AI is pretty dumb. And so we try to give you as many controls as we can for like selecting things. And I don't think this is a really obvious user experience that I just deleted out of how this works, that when you hit select for editing, that it'll add it down here. So just know that, like, as your agents are trying to work through photos and edit photos, if you teach them to use that little pencil icon, it will help it work a little bit better. And I broke it when I swapped back and forth between the new agent and the old agent. What else? Any other questions, thoughts, things you want to make sure that we work on? I'll give you a team meeting one that I would use coming up. We put out a guide that you all can download for free. And we used a bunch of our data to develop this. Called it's at brokerbot.ai/get-found. And this is how you help them rank in the algorithms so that AI will mention them for whatever they do. So you can give this link out to your people, they can download it. But what I would do at a team meeting is I would come in and I would use voice and say, hey, we have our team meeting coming up, and I want to provide some value to my agents by doing a quick online profiles reconciliation for them. And so I want you to help me write a prompt that will have you go to the major search portals and social media sites and look them up and give them kind of a report on how they're doing. Do their things match? And have they set themselves up in a way where they look like the real estate professional of choice for their given area? And then give them a tip or two on how to improve. A tip or two. Okay. How about that? Tip or two. Okay. So again, I'm just like workshopping, and what you'll see me do a lot is I'm going to have BrokerBot write the prompt for it to go do the work, because it knows how to prompt itself way better than I know how to prompt it. I know kind of what I want it to do. Like, I want to give my agents a fun thing that does some like online looky-uppy type stuff that's going to like do a thing. And so this is what it's going to work on. And then it's like, yeah, hey, this looks really cool. I don't want you to ask them to fill it out though. I want you to use their like info in BrokerBot to go do this. And I want it to look a little bit like magic, to where you go figure out who they are and find them because they're part of our office. And we just want to set up a trigger phrase for this, and we'll call it like proven internet audit. Actually, that sucks. Come up with a better name. And so you can just kind of keep talking to it this way. Oh yeah, look at this. See, it's much more creative than me. Proven presence audit. That's really cool. Oh, proven digital footprint. I like that one. Okay, let's call it that. I don't know. This is where I get too excited. I'll just do that. And none of my agents are going to be able to spell presence because we all write like fifth graders. I'm talking about myself. Anyways, so it's going to do that. It's going to save it for training. And then when it saves it for training, I'm going to go, and I'm just going to walk you all end to end through this. Okay, cool. Yep, that's saved and ready to go. So I'm going to go to training. Yep, it's here. And so now what's going to happen is when I say this, it's going to do that. Wait, hang on. I don't want it to do this. Don't do that. I'm going to refine. Don't do this. Instead, use their user details that you already have access to for BrokerBot. So this is how you can change these. What you have to know is what's in that green bubble. Okay, there you go. Cool. So what's in this green bubble is what the machine's going to do. So it says use the user's details. Yeah, there we go. Don't search that. That's cool. All right, cool. So we've approved that. So now what I would do is I would take this, and there's a couple of things you could do. So I could go here and I could just type it in. Oops. I could tell my agents, okay, everybody's going to open BrokerBot, and you're just going to type in proven presence check, and it's going to like do magic for you. Uh-oh. Did I not save it? Hold on. Training. Yeah. Oh, hang on. I don't want, see, look, this is where I get it wrong. Don't use this. Just infer their name from their user profile. There we go. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, there we go. So now if I come in here and I say proven presence check, it should just rock and roll and do this for me. Let's just make sure that it starts. What I'm seeing is like in the thinking, it should be calling that like training straight away and starting on this. I'm in a demo account and everything breaks in my demo account. So just know that. But yours should just work, and then it'll go do this. The other thing that you can do is you can say this. This is our broker hotline. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say, I want you to write an SMS command that when somebody clicks on it, it'll trigger an SMS to this phone number that says proven presence check. Okay. And so BrokerBot knows how to write a code. So it'll write a little snippet of code for me, and it's going to give that to me. And so this is like, as a leader, I'm going to use this in my team meeting. So you'll see here, it's got it here. It's a clickable hyperlink that you could use here, or here's the SMS link you can use. So now I'm just going to click on that, and then I'm going to go to my little QR code generator, and then I'm going to put that as the QR code. And so I just want to show you all how this works. I don't think you can see my QR code in my share. Can you? You can?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my phone. I'm going to scan that QR code. When I scan it, you'll see it automatically, hold on, I turn off my screen blur. It automatically opens the right phone number and just puts that right there. And so now I'll text that in. And what it'll do is it'll trigger it from that text, and it'll start doing it for you. So what I'm trying to give you is like in a team meeting, you got the QR code up on the screen. People are going to scan it. Whoa, it just started a text. They're going to text it. And it's that like first magic moment where it's going to start running that audit, and then it's going to deep link them back into BrokerBot from here, which will get them in on their phone and get them going. And so that's like the playbook for you all is like integrations, get them logged in, get them connected. And if you get them logged in and you get them connected, then you can start to create these little magic moments for them that will do really cool stuff. And so if you all have not already gone into settings and members and just gone in here and you click on all your unclaimed accounts, you can go here, you can select everybody, resend invites, and you can re-invite everybody. So if you have hundreds of people that haven't claimed their invites yet, it'll auto resend them. If you have people that haven't verified their phone, you can select all those people. And so there's 20, and tell them all to do their thing, or you could make this like a calling campaign to go help these people verify their phones. So this is set up here so that you can kind of like look at who's doing what and quickly click through these and take bulk actions to reinvite these people. These integrations not connected is another really good way to kind of get people going and get them engaged. What else? What questions do you have? What did I not hit? Was this helpful? That's probably my biggest question.
Very helpful.
Yep.
Very helpful.
Jeremiah, can we get the link to this recording so we can have this conversation with our teams?
Yep. Good. Boss, any other questions?
I still haven't seen where I can get into Slack. I can't see what's at the bottom, and when I got rid of everything, it still didn't show up.
Okay. If you click on your name at the very bottom left when you're logged into BrokerBot, you'll see a little thing that says join our Slack. No? Yes? Maybe?
Not yet, but let me see. I don't see my name, so that may be the problem.
That may be it. Here, let me just drop. Hang on, I'll make it a little bit easier for you. In the Zoom, copy link address, drop this here. Okay, I just dropped that in the Slack.
There's my name. It was just hidden.
There you go. Good.
Join our Slack. Got it. My name was under my picture. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thoughts, questions, feedback? I'm glad you all had like a very resounding yes, this was helpful. So that is a great thing. I like that as feedback. This is like training plus web search plus these things. This is the mental model for creating workflows. If you're a market center administrator, Carmen, whoever is impersonating Carmen, I wish we had a training manual. We have a whole knowledge center. The easiest way to ask BrokerBot for training is to just ask BrokerBot, like literally just like, hey, I'm trying to do this. Hi, Faith. This is what I'm trying to do. How do I do this? Get help. The other thing is what I would tell you all, anytime you're in the platform and you're having a challenge, click on the support life ring, send us a message. When you're in here, you can see, like, if you go to search for help, all of our like getting started, how do I log in? There's tons of stuff in here. My brain, I don't want to go look for things like this. I want to just ask. And so I just ask BrokerBot what's going on and it'll tell me. Cool. All right, go forth and conquer with workflows. We will continue to ship software. We are looking for testers actively for Canva, Follow Up Boss, and our V2 agent. So please join that Slack, send me a DM, and we'll get you all added. Appreciate y'all's engagement. We will do more of these so that we keep you all in the loop on what's happening. As you can tell, like if you invite your leadership teams, they will get value from these things. And parting thought for you is, the better you understand how BrokerBot works architecturally, the like easier it is to be creative about how things go. So like if Bruce and I are on the same team and we both have our Google Calendar connected and we group text BrokerBot, guess what it can do? It can be our scheduling assistant because it can see both of our calendars. So there's a bunch of cool stuff like that on your leadership teams that you should be doing. Like start a group text with BrokerBot, start asking it to help you all do things in that group text, and you will be shocked at what it comes up with. I just saw like light bulbs go off in several of your heads. Awesome. I appreciate everybody's time. We will send this recording out sooner than later, and we'll see you online.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Jeremiah.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.